I've recently started a new friendship with a guy who is a member of a family that's a very prominent family in the entertainment business that I've been friends with for, well over several decades now, which is the Jackson family. And there's a new younger member of the Jackson family who I've recently become involved with on a platonic level,
Sure.
as a friend, a guy, and he has a lot of things in him that remind me of Mr. Michael. So it's an interesting relationship. It's bringing a lot of closure for me. Finding out things that I wasn't quite sure about, things that had been left open-ended. And I feel like there's a lot of questions being answered right now due to that new relationship. And not only that, but it's nice to have the support. So he's actually been running around with me here every day in New York since I've been here. He's been a great support, tremendous guy. And his appears also on my new album. So he's very talented as well.
What type of music does Corey Feldman have on his iPod?
I have everything. I love all types of music, everything except country.
Really?
Can't do the country thing,
No?
man. I just don't feel it.
You have a group project, Truth Movement.
Yep.
And you have solo projects as well.
Yep.
Is there a difference between the two?
There's a huge difference.
Please elaborate.
Two totally different styles of music. And I play with a lot of different styles and formats of music anyway. If you listen to one of my solo projects, you will notice there's probably about anywhere from 4 to 6 different styles of music, genres of music, kind of interwoven into one piece. And the reason for that is I like to diversify myself. I get bored very easily, and I'm not one of those guys that could ever do the same song over and over because it was a hit.
Okay.
You're not going to hear 25 different versions of Ascension Millennium on my next album. That's just not what I do.
Okay.
I like to keep things fresh, entertaining, and original. And to me, art is always creating a new picture, reinventing yourself, reinventing the work. That's what we're supposed to do. That's our responsibility as artists. Van Gogh didn't paint the same thing 20 times,
Picasso did.
Well, that's a different story
Yes.
altogether, isn't it? But the point is that as a musician, I like to diversify myself. I like to explore new territory. With my last solo album, it was a wide range. We did a cover of Imagine. We did, a song with Rick Springfield, which was like a very Euro pop kind of sound. There was some hard rock songs. There was a little bit of everything on that thing.
Does Corey Feldman rap?
Yeah, sometimes.
He does spit a verse, doesn't he?
Not well, but, On the new album, actually, there's a few hip-hop songs, so it's interesting that you brought that up. The new album takes you through a true musical journey, okay? Starting off with, very kind of electronica mixed with pop, because that is really the theme nowadays in music. When I'm talking about a pop album, a solo project, I like to do everything that's happening in contemporary music, and hopefully for what I might see as the next stage. Because you always got to kind of think in advance when it comes to music. Because generally when you put out an album, you're going to be releasing singles for, a year or two from that one album. So you want to make sure that as long as you're generating sequels, you're thinking of the future. You're not trying to emulate something that you've heard from the past, especially with pop music. You've got to be on that cutting edge. And therefore, since I don't trust my instincts entirely,
Why not?
Well, because, I'm not necessarily a pop writer. I am a music writer, and I'm good at writing hooks, but I'm not necessarily the best at keeping my eye on the radar of what's coming next.
Okay.
So instead, I enlist people to help in that department. On this album alone, this coming album, as I mentioned, on the last album, I worked with some great people as well, but this one, I really hit the nail on the head with the now, the today. So I've got everybody on this album, from Rick One and Poet from Black Eyed Peas, Supreme from Wu-Tang, Kaya Jones from Pussycat Dolls, Fred Durst, and even Brandon Howard, who is an amazingly talented producer, singer-songwriter, who has worked with everybody from T3 to the Jacksons to Genuine, and has been creating platinum records for years and years. But what most people didn't know until now is that he is also part of the Jackson family. So I've got some amazing talent lined up for this new album. People are going to be very excited.
Music is obviously something you're very passionate about.
I didn't get into the second half, which is what the band represents.
It's your
Sorry,
time.
'cause you
Go
asked
ahead.
what the difference was. You
Go
asked what
ahead.
the difference was, so I
Yes.
want to be clear and answer it all concisely.
Integrity.
There you go. If I say I'm going to do it, I got to do it. So the solo project, that's what it is. Summary. The band is completely different beast. With the band, I wanted to focus on classic rock. I love classic rock because that is an opportunity to not have to follow a design, to not have to stay within a format, to kind of bleed off wherever you want to. So, with the Truth Movement projects that we've done thus far, they're concept albums. They tell a story. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And consistently sound like it's all the same band. It's not like the pop, literally you could listen to my pop record, you've got some hip hop, you've got some rock, you've got some techno, electronica, pop music, ballads, all of it's on there. But with the Truth Movement stuff, it's like taking a Led Zeppelin album or a Pink Floyd album. Yeah, the songs are going to be different and unique, but they all fit together in that format. And that's really what the Truth Movement represents. The name itself speaks volumes because it is not just about the band, but it's about the people that come to see us live. It's about the live experience. It is a movement of people literally working together for the common good. And sometimes that common good is just feeling good by hearing some great music. But it's also music that's poignant, that makes you think. And that goes across the board for all of my writing. I don't believe in doing something that is... I don't believe in superficial music. I don't believe in doing stuff...
Somebody has to not believe in it because
Yeah.
everyone else seems to be putting it out.
Well, especially in pop music. It's
Yeah.
very hard to find anything with depth these days. So whether it's my pop projects or whether it's the Truth Movement stuff, I always feel that it's most important to convey some sort of message, to put something out there that is thought-provoking, that's meaningful, that you might be able to be inspired or learn from. On the new album, the solo album, we've got a song that is a tribute to Corey Haim. It's called Remember 222. I've also got this song, which is the one that I did with Brandon Howard, which is the big finale of the album, and that's called Mercy. And the thing about this album is it's going to work as a great companion piece to the book.
Wonderful.
It's got 3 Corey's Angels themed songs, and it's called Angelic to the Core. That's the name of the album. So we take you through kind of the Corey's Angels journey. We take you through this kind of pop journey with some hip-hop songs. Fred Durst is on there. He's amazing. But again, there's many messages to be heard. Now, going back to Truth Movement, that's usually one general message, which is whatever the thematic of that album is, and then we drive it home. And again, paying regards to the classic rock virtue of it, to make it virtuous, to make it what it's supposed to be, I couldn't help but enlist some of the greatest names in classic rock to help me make those albums. So, on my Truth Movement album, a lot of people have called Truth Movement similar to Pink Floyd, a sister band to Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's own websites said that when they were sent the Truth Movement Technology Analogy album, out of all of the thousands of albums that they've received through the years, which say that they have a Pink Floyd sound, our band is the only one that ever got it right.
Wow.
Ever.
It's a ringing endorsement.
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, we had a review from, I believe it was Music World, who said that our band sounded like Roger Waters' worst solo album. The intent was to be a bad review. And
Pros and cons of Hitchhike?
And I thought, well, yeah, exactly. Or Radio Chaos, I think is
Okay.
what they were probably referring to. But again, if you want to tell me that the worst, that my best is one of rock and roll history's best, well, I think I can take that insult with shining armor.
Obviously, music resonates within you and it creates feeling. Are there songs that you hear that take you back to darker times? Maybe you hear a song and you remember a memory that you don't want to remember as a child.
Not really.
No.
No, I mean, there may be songs that take me back to my parents. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, I was at the Chiller Convention. As you know, I met Robin, the lead singer of Cheap Trick.
Yeah, Robin Zander.
Yep, Robin Zander. I don't believe we'd ever met before, but he seemed like a big fan, and he was a very nice guy. And, I had to let him know, my father was a huge fan of your work. He had Cheap Trick albums everywhere. He was always talking about you guys. So even though I don't really respect my father or his opinions too much, I was raised around it. And probably one of the reasons I never got into Cheap Trick.
Out of defiance.
Right. But that said, I don't ever think that they were bad at what they do. I may not have gone there, I may not have supported it, but I don't take away the knowledge or try to, I don't try to argue the fact that they're talented and they're a good band. So I told him that, I'm a very honest person. So I said, my dad always listened to you. I kind of stayed away from anything having to do with my dad. Because he said, well, we've never seen you at a show. Why don't you come down? I said, well, I just hadn't really thought of it. But that's not to say that I wouldn't. So let me know when you're touring next and I'll come support.
There you go.
One of the greatest drummers in rock and roll.
Phil Collins, Neil Peart, those are my two.
Yeah,
From
well,
Rush.
for me, I would say in drums, Nick Mason,
Sure.
Ringo Starr,
So you're a Floyd guy.
and Phil Collins.
Okay. Anytime.
Wait. We gotta give
Yes?
Keith Moon some credit. Gotta give
Okay.
Keith Moon some credit.
No Alex Van Halen?
Keith
We
Moon
can
gotta
go
have
on
some
and on.
credit.
Okay.
Gotta give Keith Moon some credit.